Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in this new webinar. Today, we're going to talk about Python and its integration in ClicData. So first of all, I want to make sure that everyone can hear us and see us well. I hope it's fine. Yes, I can see that's in the chat. Thank you. There is a chat, so you can post all your questions there. I'm going to be answering them. And during the webinar, you can ask all your questions, of course. We'll also have time at the end. And the webinar is recorded as usual. So if you have, if you need to go out or to go back to some questions or to some sections later on, you can of course do that with the recording. All right, so without further ado, let me present Elise Geraldus, who is our senior data analyst. She's going to be presenting the webinar today. And as I said, I'm going to be on the chat answering your questions. And now I'm leaving the mic to you, Elise.
Hello, everyone. I'm really happy today to talk about the latest module we released, which is the data script. On today's agenda, so I will quickly present an introduction about the data script. We are going to see a demo with this module and with a specific example of sales forecasting. And last, we are gonna see the roadmap of this module, what we plan for the next months. So, to give you a bit of context for those who do not maybe know ClicData yet, the idea with the platform that we wanted to develop was not only to display data on dashboards, we wanted to have the whole data pipeline in one tool. So that's why you will find all the data connections. We also created the module for the data management with the data flow, and also the data sharing part. But recently, we really wanted to go to the next level with the data management, and that's why we released a module called Data Script. What is the data script? It's a code editor which allows you to write your projects in Python. What is the difference with DataScript and another tool that could use Python? When we think about Python projects, most of the time we can think of the BI tool and another tool with the Python integration, but there is always kind of either an extract of data or a connection to the database. But what we really wanted with ClicData is an integrated solution where you can directly query the database, make your Python script, and directly show the results on the dashboards. So now maybe you ask, okay, but we want to see the module. So let's start with the demo. So let us know if you can see my screen, if the quality is good enough. Okay. To find the data script, then, when you are on your ClicData account, you will find it in the main menu under the data section, just after the data hook. If you do not see it, just ask to your admin because it's just maybe a permission question. And here you can just create a new script. So there is no need to create a kind of a virtual environment or a workspace. You just need to choose where you want to put your script in which folder. But you will see here at the bottom right that we start an engine for you. It's loading. It should last a few seconds. So we prepare the environment for you. You do not need to take care of that. Now for this module, so we can see in the center, that's where you will be able to write a Python, but we will see all the parts, and we can start with the right area here. To start, maybe we can install packages. When we talk about Python, we need to install packages. We have already pre-installed ones that you can have a look here. So there is, for instance, cryptography, pandas, PyODBC requests, or SQL Alchemy. But you can also install your own. So let's say I want to install NumPy, which is a very common package. You can just type the name. If you want to install a specific version, you can specify it here, but otherwise you can just click install and it will install the latest version. We can see that the engine was updated, so the package is now installed. And now, as usual with Python, you can just import the package on your script. For this example, I will just need also scikit-learn. So I will do the same with this one. That's all for the installation of package. Now, if we go to the next session with the inputs, the idea now is that we want to query a dataset that is hosted in ClicData. So you can also add new and select the table you want to use in the script. For this example, I will use a dataset where you can see by day and by store the quantity of sold for specific projects. You can see also the price of the project, the number of employees for the store. But the idea is to predict the sales for, let's say, the 6 next months or 12 next months, depending on what you need. Here I can give a name to my dataset. And if now I need to call this dataset in the script, we can have a look at the left part where we have created Python functions for you. So if I choose the order dataset, we propose two functions. The first one is the get data frame, so just to simply import the dataset as it is. Or you can also use the get cursor if you want to navigate yourself in a dataset. Most of the time it's used when you deal with not two-dimensional datasets or with very large also volume of data. So here I'm just gonna put this dataset in a variable called df, for instance. And now, so I can use the df variable to do my usual Python code. So let's say here, for instance, I want to extract the year and the month from the order date, for instance. Another feature we propose is the parameter. The parameter is the ability to quickly change the value of a variable, for instance. For instance, in this case, let's say I want to run this script for a specific project. The first option would be, for instance, to just add the variable and hard-code the project name. But we can use the parameter too. So I will call it the same. It can be so a fixed value, the same I have just done here, or it can be based on the JavaScript formula. So you can refer, for instance, to an account parameter, a user parameter, or you can create formulas such as retrieving the date of today, for instance. It's really up to you. And now I can change the product variable to retrieve the value of my parameter. So when I will change the value here at the right, it will of course change the value that is stored in this variable project. And what is very cool is that we will see it later, but when you choose to run the data script, you will have the ability to choose let me show you, with which parameter value you want to put. So you can first run it with this project, but you can also change it then to use another project, for instance. So, okay, I have imported my datasets. I also specified a specific project. So now I can just continue my script editing. With this example, we will not go into the detail, but the idea is to do here a linear regression to predict the next month's sales. And what we propose also with this module is to give you a bit of help. The first option is the Ask AI that you can find here at the top. So you can describe what you are trying to achieve, and it will kind of translate it in Python. You can choose, for instance, to insert the answer at the position of your cursor. You can replace a selection, or you can just replace the whole script. You do not need to care about the ClicData function, the Python function we created for you. The Ask AI already knows them. Another help that we propose is the favorite code. This feature is to save some line of codes, but that you can refer them in different data scripts. For instance, with this one, it's a function I have created to kind of create uh, a summary of all the numerical columns of a dataset. So, for instance, I want to see the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, the number of unique values for all the numerical columns. So you can see it's not a huge function. Maybe some of you already created a worse function than that, but I do not want to write it again every time. So I just stored this function in my favorite code, and I can just quickly add them in all the data script I need. And what is really cool also is that you have also the find and replace function, so you can just quickly replace the name of your parameter or of your column also if you Okay, let's remove that just to keep it clear. Now maybe what we want to do, so okay, let's say my model is okay, but now I want to store the predictions in a specific data set that then I will use in the dashboard. So to do that, it's the last part here at the right, what we call outputs, where you can choose, so the same, you can choose a table from your ClicData account. Here we can see that it's the same structure as the input table. The only difference will be that the date will be the future dates, because I need to predict those dates. Let's call it months to predict, for instance. And now in the same ID, at the left, you will find the function that you can use for the output datasets. Here I have a few functions. So you have, for instance, the ability just to clear, so empty the whole table. You can delete some rows, insert, update, or upsert rows. Here, what I'm going to do is I will insert some rows here. And sorry, I forgot a step where I need to predict. So here I am using the model I have created to predict the future quantity. And now what I want to insert in the new table is this is the variable containing those predictions. So each time I will run this script, of course it will execute everything, but the main idea is that it will store all the predictions in this output table. So that's a kind of output that we propose, but you will also find a second option. For instance, here we can see that I chose to print something, to print the result of my model. So let's say I run the script. Here you will see the output. So it's kind of the shell maybe that you used to. You will see first that we prepared the environment for you, but that's also where you will see all the prints that you have chose to show. The last, let's say, feature with the data script, but not the least, is the automation. You can, of course, as all the different ClicData module, you can choose when you want to run the data script. And here, for instance, what I have done is that for one schedule, I chose to run the data script twice. The first the first time it runs with a specific project, and the second one it runs with another project. Because each time you choose to run data script automatically, you will be able to choose which outputs, which outputs, and which parameters you want to add. You can also specify a time, meaning that if the script, for instance, here takes longer than 1 hour, we will stop the process. You will also be able to always find the history. What I mean by that is that you will be able to see each time the script runs, you will see what were the inputs, output, parameters, and you can also see what was the script at this time. Another information here is the consumed credits. The DataScript module uses 1 credit for each minute of Python writing or Python running, meaning if you need, for instance, 1 hour to develop, to write your code, it will use 60 credits. But just to let you know, each subscription that includes the data script, I've also included in the subscription 500 credits. So it's about 8 hours of scripting. So it's pretty enough to do what you need. And if you need, of course, you can add also more. So now, okay, I have created my script, I automated it, and the last part, let's say, is to show it in the dashboard. Like in this example, for instance, so it's a really easy example, but the idea is to show, for instance, the historical quantity sold, and in different colors we can see the forecasted quantity that my scripts by using my machine learning model forecasted. And for instance, if you already uh, connected your inventory tool, you can put an alert like that to let know your customer when the available stock, for instance, will or not answer the forecasted quantity. Of course, it's just one example, but we can think of many more. Um, we can think, for instance, of customer feedback analysis. The example I shown you was just a predictive analysis, but with Python, I mean, we can do pretty much everything we want. So it can be clustering. We can even think about scrapping, for instance, if we need, and even advanced ETL, meaning if you feel more comfortable with Python, for instance, you can still use the data script instead of the data flow if you want. In discussion, also, I have put something about the optical character recognition. And it will brings me to the last part, what we have planned for the roadmap. Because for now, as you saw, we can use ClicData datasets, but maybe soon we will be able to use also different types of file. Let me show you what we have planned for the next months. What I can already tell you is that we are already working on supporting the next version of Python, so the 3.50. What I just said before, we want to support also different files. So for instance, if you want to save already a trained model, you will not need to train your model each time. You can just import the model and forecast it the revenue with that. We could think of also images. So what I mentioned before with the character recognition, that would be I think a really good feature. And of course, we also plan to work on different editor improvements. We are also investigating to create a data flow node that will allow you to run a data script directly during your regular ETL process, for instance. and also the ability to run only selected portions of your Python scripts. We have also the output prints in separate windows that could be really useful. And what we also have in mind, but it will also depend on our customer feedback, is to improve the engine performance. So for now, we are using a 8-core database, but if our customer needs more, we would love to improve that. And we also start with the Python language, but we can think about other language also. We can think about R, for instance. We started with Python because it was, I guess, the most used languages, but why not? We can add more too. If you have any feedback or ideas, we would be really happy to hear from you. So you can send an email directly to the email address project@clickdata.com. Um, I hope the demo was clear enough. Let's see if we have some questions. And do we have questions? I hope it was clear.
All right, we have one question. So I'm just going to put that on the chat. It's long and it just came through. Thank you. Thank you, Jay. Okay, I'm going to read it out to you, okay? Hi, it looks great. I don't write in Python, but I done machine learning course where we learned some Python to run many different machine learning models. In the program, we were able to print some charts while coding to check outputs before setting up the chart. Can you run all the different ML models? But if you're planning to integrate directly to use ML models without the requirement for Python, then for me, maybe it's best to wait for that. The question is about the ML models.
So of course, so if you feel comfortable to do your own model, you can. We also plan to give you some pre-made models. So it could be an idea too. We are working on that, and we also have the service system that could help you to create your own model. So that could also be an idea, an help if you need. We can help with that.
All right, I think this, yep. Jay says thank you.
Cool.
Are there any other questions? Someone else, I think, is coming in.
Of course, if you think about other questions later, feel free to reach out and we will answer also.
Okay, so we have another question. On which plan do we have data scripts?
On which, sorry?
On which plan, subscription plan?
Okay, yeah. So about the plan, about the subscription, for now it's included in the dedicated subscriptions. So if you are on the dedicated, you can use the script already. I see also a question about the charts. Yes. So for now, we do not handle charts, but as I said, we plan to support multiple file types, included images, so included charts. So it could be, yeah, maybe something you can generate a chart and put it on your ClicData account and then put it on your dashboard if you need. It could be an idea. It's something that we are working on, yeah. I don't know if it's answered the question, if it was what you think.
All right. Any more questions? Nope. Not for now. All right, so I think maybe we can wrap it up. Of course, if you have any questions, as Ellie said, you can reach out to the support team. If you have any feedback, you can send it to the product@clickdata.com email address, and we'll be very happy to hear from you.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.